And Happy New Year. Welcome. I am Jennifer Britton, and I'm going to be your host for the next half an hour on our Coaching Business Builder and PlanDoTrack community call for January 2019 called Creating an Annual To-Do List. I want to wish you a great start to 2019. If you haven't met me, welcome. I'm the author of several books, including my two latest planner workbooks, PlanDoTrack, which is geared for virtual and remote professionals, entrepreneurs, team leaders, and team members. And earlier last year, I launched the Coaching Business Builder Workbook and Planner, which are geared for professional coaches growing their businesses. As an author and as a coach, I'm really about supporting professionals to get into accelerated results through what I say in this work, daily steps, consistent action, creating some momentum. It is the start of a new year, and it's interesting because only a few short weeks ago, PlanDoTrack was released, December 14th. In the spirit of that, I did a 14-day series, which I called 14 Days of Planning, Doing, and Tracking. It ran from December 7th to 21st, 2018. You can Google that or check out our YouTube videos. There's a lot more if this is an area of interest for you. Today's call, however, is about helping you create your annual to-do list. Maybe you have it, maybe you don't already, but it's really to get you thinking about what's possible for you in 2019. I'm also going to leave you with 5 questions to consider. So a little bit about PlanDoTrack and Coaching Business Builder. Really, they're workbook planners, undated planners. So an annual to-do list, some of us might think is January, but I would have to say doing lots of virtual retreats over the years, September is also a key time where a lot of people see this as start of the year. So it doesn't matter what month you're in. If this is like the start of your next year, really be thinking about what's important. And I'll talk more about the books, but really this is the year to think about your key planning for the new year. We're at the start of 2019. And I'm curious, what do your plans look like? Is it written down with tabs, as you can see here, with Post-it notes, actual lots of writing? Is it in a bullet journal? I've been a bullet journaler for many years. This is my 2019 one. And again, we're just at the start, but already some of the pages are filling up. That's very different than my 2018 one, which is over the corner, or maybe you plan using Post-it notes or mind maps. Whatever we do, I think it's really critical that we look at capturing our information and our ideas so that we have it on paper, we make it visible, and we regularly go back to it. So I'd like to give you a chance to think about, for you in 2019, what are some of your main pieces? As we move through the call today, I'm going to be giving you 45-second prompts to actually write things down, take note of your responses so that you're not only leaving with some ideas, excuse me, but you're actually leaving with something that you can refer back to. So I mentioned in today's call, please grab your video, please grab your timer. I'm going to just start our timer. We'll do these in 45-second blocks, which is not a lot of time. You may be amazed at just how much thinking comes into it. So grab that pen, grab that journal, start a new page. I'm going to be following along as well. And I'd like you to think about this new year. What are the main pieces of your work in this current upcoming year? Think about the juggle puzzle pieces. What are the main pieces for you this year? Take a moment to write it down. If you need a little bit more time and you're listening to this, please feel free to pause it. But my guess is that you probably have maybe a handful of main pieces. And we'll be working through this as we go through our call today. If you want more time, feel free to pause. Now, as you think about your annual plan for 2019 or 2020 perhaps, what is linked to your vision? I'd like you in this next block to just take a moment to think about or reconnect with what your vision is. When I started Potentials Realized back in 2004, so almost 14 years ago, my vision was to have a global company that was lean and mean. I never intended to start a business that was like big and bulky, but I did want to have global impact. And what's really interesting is as I've been growing the business, just seeing how my work, how my words impact the world. And so books have really been my vehicle, as have calls like this, where consistently on a monthly basis, I want to honor this space because I know so many people are catching up with it after the fact. So take a moment, and as you think about your annual plan, what's linked to your vision? What's important for you to keep in mind around your vision for 2019? All right, there's our timer. So in the Coaching Business Builder and Plan Do Track, I have a variety of tools, and I wanted to bring that to you this morning to really get thinking about your vision. 12 months from now, where do you want to be? And we're going to take a little bit more time right now to give you an opportunity to stop and take pause on what are these different components of your business. Think about your financial goals, or maybe your client goals, any products or programs that you want to bring out into the world. Maybe you have some health and lifestyle goals that are really important, or marketing goals. They might also be related to projects, other goals, or other goals. So again, there's some choice here. I'd like you to think about in the next 12 months, if you had to narrow this down to your top 3 to 5 goals, what are those goals? Take a few minutes, a minute 45 to be exact, to note those down. All right, again, you are able to stop and pause this at any time if you would like. One of the reasons why I wanted to take us back to our vision and thinking about 12 months from now, where do you want to be, is it's very easy to fall into what we've often called the shiny red ball syndrome, where everything looks neat. You know, our vision helps to anchor us. And a few months ago, I shared a quote from one of my latest books, where I talk about how visions help us through the ebbs and flows of life. So I do hope that you're taking some notes on this today that you can refer back to. I'm jotting along in my bullet journal, and as much as I've done a lot of this over the last month or two in leading virtual retreats, it's always important for us to really gain clarity. My work days are long by choice, and it can be really easy to get pulled into projects, tasks that really aren't aligned with the annual plan. I found increasingly in the last few years, I've had to refer a lot of business onwards. That's not a bad thing. My vision, though, is not to grow a mega company. Really want to be boutique in nature. And so that means that there are times where I need to really check back with, how does this fit into our goals? How does this fit into the clients that I want to work with or the programs that I want to put attention around? We have limited time and energy. It is, although it can be, albeit if we are a team of only a few people, discernment is very key so that we can do our best work in those arenas. All right, so we're going to get you to think about your annual to-do list. And I'd like you now to just take about 60 seconds to note out for yourself. We're gonna start the clock again. And 365 days from now, what could wild success look like for you and your business? This is a term I use, but wild success. What could wild success look like? Okay. This is fun, isn't it? So with that in mind, what are the key activities you would want to focus in on as you consider your annual plan? Just like these post-it notes, what are the key activities you want to add? And so that's keeping in mind not only your goals, but also looking at what are the key projects you would include on your list. So take a look at your goals, your wild success measures. If you were to post out, literally grab those post-its, what are those post-its going to have? What are the different buckets of your key activities this year? Take a moment to jot those down. About 20 seconds left to jot down some more ideas for yourself. So that can be really liberating to some. On the other hand, it can actually feel very overwhelming. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years of running a lot of planning retreats is it's great to have the annual plan. Now, how do we chunk it down? And I think beyond going into quarters, if you were to look out across this whole landscape of the year, What are your, I'm calling it your top five. Next week, I'm doing a couple of speaking engagements, and we're going to whittle it down from this big, massive laundry list into your top five. By the next year, and if you're listening to this in 2019, by the end of 2019, as you step into 2020, what's absolutely essential for you to do as you consider your annual plan? I'd like you to actually jot down your top five as you think about your absolute essentials this year. How did you find that? Was it easy to go to five? I know for me, I was sneaking in a number six. But notice, we can have a lot of great things on our annual plans. It is important to bucket it down into some of those key areas. And I'll invite you to think about how you want to do that. Now, part of business development is not only doing the new work, it's also about doing the maintenance activities. So, in growing a business, whether you're in your first year or even your second decade, there are things that keep the business moving. I call these maintenance activities. For me in my business as a coach, that would be servicing current clients. It would be talking about the things that I've always talked about. Next year, 2020, we're going to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of effective group coaching. And while group coaching was the focus of my first few books, it's not only the place that I spend my life. I do a lot of work with virtual teams, with virtual team leaders, with business owners. And so it's important for me to also be focusing in on things that are maintenance activities, but also growth areas. So for now, just take 30 seconds to note down your maintenance activities. What's going to keep your business moving along as is? Keep going. Okay, so that's maintenance activities. Now think about the areas that you want to grow in. You might, like here, think about the different puzzle pieces. Maybe there's a few, maybe there's a handful. What are the areas that you want to grow in? And I'll invite you to think about, related to those areas, what are the things that you want to do in order to grow in those areas? Okay, so if you are growing, like for me, I'll have another book coming out later this year. What are the areas that are important for me to take action on? And related to this, who can help you with these growth areas? We may not be able to do it all alone. Who can help you with these growth areas? So with all of this, with your 1 year plan, I'd like you to think about the 5 W's and an H. 2019, we've addressed some of these as we've gone so far, but in our last few minutes, please take a note of some of these other things. You've maybe got the who, the what, the where, when, the why. We haven't looked at the why or the how. Take a moment to just consider and jot out your areas here. Keep going. All right. So I can give you another minute just to note down for yourself, what's the connection? This is the who, what, the 5 W's and an H, but just from a different perspective or lens, what is important across these different areas? Maybe you're noticing Q5, Q5, Q1, Q2, Q3. So at this point, my guess is you have quite a few pages of information. I'll just scroll backwards, starting with the 5 W's and an H, going backwards to some of my buckets for the year, and then also some of my 2019 pieces. Having a robust to-do list is important. Part of the bullet journaling movement is to really capture your ideas down on one spot. What I found interesting is, we all have different strengths and styles around this. I'd like you to think about your biggest, most important activity that's on your list. We've got a few more minutes in our call, and I'd like you to list out for the next minute, pick that one project that you really want to move the needle on. What is your to-do list around that initiative? Take a moment now. All right, doesn't take long. And if you're listening to this after the fact, keep on going. I want to invite you, if you've enjoyed this process of moving through different sections, I host a monthly review. It's a monthly program. We meet for an hour and we just simply take stock of the year. There are reflective prompts like we've done today, a little bit longer, but they are geared to help you take stock of what you've done so that you can leverage the month ahead. Both Coaching Business Builder and PlanDoTrack are live. Here's what one of the coaches indicated for her reading of Coaching Business Builder. She called it a must read for the professional coach and business owner. And she calls Coaching Business Builder as one of the most comprehensive, professional, and currently relevant books I've seen on this topic. Building a financially successful coaching practice requires a variety of consistent efforts, with author Jennifer Britton accounts for in detail. Just as importantly, she invites you to consider what is important to you as a coach and a business owner, and to align your business development efforts with your values. Key part in the work that I do, we're growing a business from a coaching perspective, one that aligns with us, one that is tied into our vision, one that is going to really work in a lifestyle that we have. So just to let you know, the PlanDoTrack virtual retreats will be continuing in the new year. The next one is tomorrow, Tuesday, the 8th of January. I'll be offering these monthly. And those have been really well received. It's 4 hours where you get to work with me specifically on your vision, on projects, on scheduling. It's planning, it's getting things done, and it's also thinking about tracking it. If you haven't caught the 14 days of year-end events from the end of 2018, do head on over to my YouTube channel, and you'll see there the PlanDoTrack, what is it called, playlist, and you'll be able to catch up on at least 4 or 5 of the calls that I did. For those that are looking for longer term supports, I have a variety of programs running again this year for coaches, both ICF CCE programs and annual learning events. For virtual leaders, we've got the Teams 365 Leadership Series and the Leadership Lab, which is a year-long group. For virtual remote teams, we've got team development and also the Leadership Lab. And for virtual entrepreneurs, I've got, of course, coaching one-on-one and also at the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, which meets on Fridays from 3 to 4 p.m. I've been your host for the last half an hour. I'm Jennifer Britton. Let's stay connected. And I think one of the most fun areas has been over on Instagram. I've been doing the 90 Days PlanDoTrack series over at Coaching Biz Builder. And it's not just geared for coaches. It's a 90-day series on helping you plan, get into action, which is the doing, and track it. I host these calls once or twice a month. Just a general reminder, the next call is going to be on the 21st of this month. And in that, we're going to be looking at some critical activities for 2019. So I hope that you'll join me for that second call of the month. Again, check us out online. Books are available at Amazon. PlanDoTrack for virtual remote professionals, entrepreneurs, and also Coaching Business Builder. Thanks for joining me. And do pass on the word to others. Have them join us as well. Take care. Bye-bye.